Hey there, lovelies. Welcome to Beauty for the Broke. Nitsa here, and today I wanted to do a little tutorial for you and show you how to create a very simple, very quick makeup look using only some very affordable products. I want to let you know that I did change my shooting setup a little bit so I could take advantage of the natural light coming in through my window, which is right in front of me, and hopefully help with some of the lighting problems I've been having. But since it is the daytime, that also means that they're working on the construction site across the street from us, and that there's people out and about, more so than it would be during the evening. So if you do hear some background noise, I apologize. Also, I want to let you know that this video is dedicated to Andrea, who is a friend of my husband and I, who has expressed to us that she'd like to start wearing makeup, but wasn't really sure where to start and didn't have anybody to teach her while she was growing up. So Andrea, this one's for you. Okay, before we get into it, let me show you what you're going to need to create this look. You will need a oil-free moisturizer like this one. This is a knockoff that I got from Target of a Neutrogena one. Neutrogena is not cruelty-free to my knowledge, but that Target one is, so that's why I use that. You'll also need some foundation. This one is the Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation in shade LC1 that I actually took out of the bottle it came in and put in this pump bottle because I just like pumps better. I have listed and linked below some affordable options for you. Physicians Formula, I'd highly recommend it if you have long work days. It's waterproof, it's not going to budge on you, but it is kind of pricey. I paid about $14 for it. So you'll also need some face powder for setting. This is Milani Conceal and Perfect Shine Proof Powder in Nude, color 02. This one's a little more expensive at about $8. I found it works really well for my sebaceous filaments that I get on my nose, some of the texture I get on my cheeks. It covers that really well, but I did link some more affordable options in the description below. Some blush, and this you can afford to go cheap on. This one is the Malibu Glitz blusher in amber. Stay on the table, brushes. Some eyeshadow in 2 to 4 shades darker than your actual skin tone. I will be using this one. Whoops. This is a transition shade from the Wet n Wild Color Icon Quad in Walking on Eggshells. Very affordable at about $4. Great palette. Got some other great colors in there if you want to branch out at any point. I've also linked some singles below if you want to just buy this one single color and be done with it. So there's that. A lipstick in a nude color. This is Makeup Revolution Rose Gold lipstick in the color Chauffeur. Mascara. This is the Wet n Wild MegaLength in black. And some brushes. Brushes I'm going to be using today are a stipple brush. Wet n Wild also makes some really good brushes in these shapes that you can get for about $1 at Dollar Tree, Walgreens, basically any pharmacy should carry them. So crease brush, looks like that. Blending brush, looks like that one. And a standard powder brush. I think this is actually a contour brush because of the angled shape, but any soft brush about that size will work just fine. So with that listed, let's go back to the past and I will show you how I created this look. Cue the 1980s cheesy sitcom flashback music. Welcome back. It is the past, and let me show you how to get this really simple 5 to 10 minute makeup look. Let me go ahead and zoom you in. I may need to pause the video here to do this. One moment. All right, there we are zoomed in so you can see my face application a little bit better. When we get to eyes, I will zoom it in a little bit more so you can clearly see what I'm doing. Start off, we will use our moisturizer, which I'll just put on my hand here. Even if you have oily skin, oh, I used a little too much there. That's okay, I use it as a body moisturizer too. Even if you have oily skin, it's important that you use a good moisturizer before you put on your makeup, because that will even out any dry patches you have, even out any oily patches that you have, and create just a nice, good, even foundation for your makeup to be built on top of. If you're worried about breakouts, make sure you use something that says non-comedogenic on it. Comedone is the scientific term for a pimple. And non-comedogenic means that it will not give you zits. All right, this actually sinks in really fast. For some moisturizers, you might need to wait about 5 minutes, but I don't because that is already sunk in. And let's get started. Foundation, first step that I do. A lot of people do their eyes first. I don't, because that's just what works for me. So, foundation and stipple brush. Take your stipple brush. I would actually have what I need to do this. That would be helpful. And spritz it. Try to make sure this is not aimed at the camera. There we go. Couple spritzes of setting spray. Water will dampen this plenty enough to make your foundation glide on evenly. If you're using a setting spray, it'll also help keep it on. What I do is just put 1 pump, maybe 2, depending on how far down your foundation is getting. Let me show you how much I have. See that? Okay. And we're going to go ahead and put this on. This is hard to do because my mirror is actually about half arm's length away from me, so it's hard to see, but hopefully it's coming across. As I've said before, I do wear glasses in real life, which I don't have on now because they reflect from my ring light. And you can't really put foundation on with glasses on anyway because it would block the application. So that one little bit covered about half of my face, not counting my nose. And the reason I do this in quadrants instead of trying to put it on all at once is because I live in a very dry climate. And if I did everything at once, then the foundation would have dried down to where it was hard to blend before I got to it. So I do it in sections. If you live in a more humid climate, you may not have to do that. The reason I use a stipple brush is because it pushes the product down into the texture and the pores that I have on my face. This particular foundation does not cause me to break out, and using this technique will not cause you zits as long as the foundation itself is not causing zits. My nose is always the trouble area because that's where I get the most oily. I do have combination skin with an oily T-zone, which if you don't know is this part right here, your forehead, nose, mouth, and chin. So we'll use a little bit more pressure on my nose. And I can work it over onto my other cheek. Da-da-da. I was going to do this as a voiceover, but I don't know how yet, so it's just a chatty get ready with me today. If you are working in quadrants like I do, you may need to re-wet your brush. There we go. This is not hard at all. If you can go doing, 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 you can get makeup on using this technique. The brush does all the work for blending. No skill required. All right, I think the foundation's done. What I'm going to do now actually is take a little bit more foundation and blend it into my eye socket and eyelid. This will help your eyeshadow stay on if you're using it. And I'm dropping my brushes all over the floor, excuse me. Okay. This will help your eyeshadow stay on. Since I am only going to be applying eyeshadow to my crease today, that's where I'm going to concentrate it, but I do like to actually cover the entire area. You'll notice I'm using my ring finger. That is a common technique you'll see on beauty videos, and the reason why is your ring finger is the weakest finger on your hand. That means it blends the most gently, so it's the best to use for that. I am just using a tap gliding motion to blend that in. If you have oily eyelids and you're using a good matte finish foundation, this will help you keep from getting oily eyelids during the day too. And that will keep your eyeshadow on better if you're using a lid shadow, which I'm not today, but just a little trick for you. Next thing is to set, and I actually right now don't remember if I told you you need a powder brush for this, like that one. If I didn't, I apologize. Wet n Wild does have one of those as well that's quite good, or if your compact came with a sponge, which most of them do, another thing you can do is just take that sponge, press it lightly in, and just tap on your face like this. But I'm going to use the brush. So what I do with that, just tap it in. And then I'm going to tap onto my T-zone, which is where I get oily. If you're oily all over, do this all over, but I don't. And then use a circle motion to just blend it in. By the way, you can reapply powder at any point in the day using this swirling motion if you notice that your nose or forehead or chin are getting shiny. There, okay, powder's on. Okay, next is blush. So I'm taking my blush compact. I'm going to hold it like this so that you don't get reflections off the mirror. And just tap into that. Tap off a little excess if you need to. This doesn't transfer onto the brush very well, so it doesn't need much tapping. That's about as much as I use. Now you'll notice that I'm not smiling, like that. The reason I don't smile when I am doing my blush, and I put it right on the apples of my cheeks, to try to make my elongated face look a little bit rounder, is because when you smile, everything on your face lifts up. So when you stop smiling, it drops, and that can actually make you look older. In fact, it's actually a trick in theater that's used to age people. So I don't do the smile thing because I don't want to look older than I am. All right, normally I would do eyes next, but since I do have to zoom in for that, and that involves changing the camera angle, let's do lips next. I'm actually going to use the finger technique. This is a perfect nude for me. And the advantage to using a nude for an everyday makeup look is they're very forgiving. If you get outside your lip line a little bit, it doesn't show up that much. So what I'm doing is I am taking my ring finger, dipping it into the lipstick. See how worn down that is? I really like this color. But you just take it and dab it onto the top. And for most people, your ring finger is actually the same shape as your Cupid's bow here. Since I cannot get close enough to my mirror to actually see what I'm doing, I'm going to use my blush mirror on this. Hopefully keep it out of frame. So what you do is just put your ring finger right in the part of your lip that makes this kind of shape. That's called the Cupid's bow. On one side, match the curve, and just pull straight down. And get some more and do the same thing on the other side. Just like that. And then take that same finger and just run it along the line of your lips. Yeah. And do the same thing on the bottom. By the way, your fingertips and your lips are two of the most sensitive areas of your body. So once you get used to using this technique, you can often do it without a mirror. At least I've found that I usually can. It depends on the day and how courageous I really want to be. Now if you want, after doing that, when you have your outline done, you can add a swipe on the inside, like that, if you want a little more color. And just blend like that. Okay, I'm going to change the camera angle for showing you how to do eyes, and I'll be back in just a minute. All right, we are back. Let's go ahead and get that eye makeup on. So here is my eyeshadow again. I'm using this color. Lightly tap my crease brush into that. Tap off any excess. That right there, let me get my hand behind it so it'll focus, is about the amount that I use. And what I do with this is I start right here, right on the edge of my eye, and it's like diagonal from the edge of my eyebrow right on the corner. And what I do, I move in one direction only, and I use the crease, which is this area right here that makes your, or that is where your eye naturally opens and closes. Because I have prominent eyes, I use the crease as the bottom edge of my eyeshadow. If you have a different shape of eye, you might want to put it a little lower or a little higher. But I just use the crease as the bottom edge of where the color goes, and I glide over to right under the other edge of my eyebrow. So use your facial features as a guideline, and it'll help you a lot. Okay, eye color is on. Next step is to blend. Crease color is all I'm doing today. Putting a little bit of a dark color in the crease makes your eyes pop. It makes them look big. And you don't need to spend 30 minutes doing a lid shade and an outer V shade and a brow bone shade and a highlight shade and all that silly YouTube stuff that we see. So for everyday look, this is what I do. Let's get the blending brush, which is this guy. And what I'm going to do is pull up to blend this outer edge here so that all of my eyeshadow stays in this direction. If it starts to go down this way, it can make your eyes look droopy and tired, and we don't want that. And then just go over the edge on the top and just lightly touch it. There, that's all we need. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other eye, which I'll cut out for video length purposes. See you in a minute. Okay, I'm back. Now, when I was doing the other eye, because I could go in a little closer, I noticed that my brows were looking kind of messy. So, quick tip for you, you do not need to go out and buy a brow brush to clean these bad boys up. All you need is an old toothbrush, nothing fancy but clean. This is actually a trick I got from my mom. I'm going to use my blush mirror again just so I can see what I'm doing. Because I have my glasses off, and that mirror is too far away for precise work. So, just brush those eyebrows back into shape. There, they look a lot better. Next step for eyes is mascara, which I think is what just fell. Yep. I am dropping stuff all over everywhere today. That's okay. Okay, for mascara, I recommend one that is marketed as being a lengthening mascara, like this one from Wet n Wild. You can see that. Oh. And the reason I do that, I recommend that rather, is that lengthening mascaras tend to have small wands like that, tiny little wands, and that's very helpful for beginners for getting mascara where you want it, not getting it where you don't want it. So let's go ahead and get this on. What you do is you take the wand, set it right in the base of your lashes, wiggle a little bit, and then just pull straight up. Or straight in the direction that your eyelashes naturally curve, which for me is kind of this direction. Like that. Top lashes only. I'm not going to be futzing with bottom lashes because that is a more advanced technique, and you have to be really careful during the day to make sure that your bottom lash mascara doesn't transfer onto your face. Really careful if you have watery eyes, and that's just more trouble than I'm willing to go to. All right, mascara is on. If you get any clumps, you can usually break them up just by doing like that. Or take that same toothbrush, very gently tap them, and that will get rid of any clumps. All right, we're not futzing with eyeliners. We're not futzing with any other shadow colors. Pull my bangs back, and that is it. We are done. Okay, so let's go back to the future after I've done my hair and gotten my good clothes on, and I will see you then. All right, we are back in the future, and that is about it for my everyday makeup look tutorial. Here are my social media handles. I would love to talk to you. So until next time, remember the size of your heart matters more than the size of your wallet. See you then. Excuse me while I look around my mirror to get these items here. Where did it go? There it is. Okay. What else? Is that it? Oh, the brushes. Okay, let's get these guys out. Back a little bit. Or not.